Their conversation breaks when Lindy appears in the doorway, her eyes puffy from crying. Amy gathers her into her arms, and Lindy begs her not to leave until Echo is healed. The words hit Amy harder than anything else. She holds her daughter close, feeling her small body shake. In that moment, Amy realizes that no choice will keep everyone safe from hurt. This is a crossroads, and whichever way she turns, something important will be lost. Amy finally stands, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand. She tells Ty and Lindy she needs to make her decision tonight. She steps outside into the cold air, staring up at the dark sky. The stars feel distant, like reminders that dreams always come at a cost. She thinks of the horses she has helped, the people she has guided, the future she has fought for. Her heart aches as she whispers the decision into the night, knowing it will divide the family she loves more than anything. The next morning arrives with a heavy stillness, as if Heartland itself is waiting for Amy's choice. The air is cool and sharp, carrying the smell of dew-soaked grass. Amy steps out onto the porch before anyone else wakes. Her eyes are tired, but her expression is firm in a way that only comes from a sleepless night filled with truth she can no longer run from. She walks toward the barn, needing to face the heart of her decision where it all began. The horses shift inside as she enters, their quiet movements grounding her even as her world feels like it is splitting down the middle. She stops in front of Spartan's stall. He lifts his head slowly, those wise, familiar eyes following her every move. Amy rests her forehead against his, letting herself breathe for the first time since the offer came. Spartan has carried her through grief, recovery, love, and rebirth. She whispers that she is scared, not of leaving, but of what might happen to the people she loves if she does. Spartan nudges her softly, as if reminding her that strength rarely feels like strength when you are inside the moment. Sometimes it just feels like surviving. Ty arrives at the barn doorway, his boots crunching on the gravel. He watches her with a mixture of pride and pain. He knows the look on her face. Amy has made her decision. He walks toward her slowly, his heart wishing for a different answer even as his mind understands the one she chose. When she turns to him, her eyes shimmer with fear and hope woven together. She tells him she is going to Europe. Her voice is steady, but a small break in the middle betrays just how much it hurts her to say it out loud. Ty nods, not trusting his voice at first. When he finally speaks, he tells her he is proud of her, that he will always be proud of her. The words sound brave, but inside he feels something splitting open. He knows this is right for Amy, but that knowledge does not soften the ache spreading in his chest. He draws her into a long, quiet embrace. It is the kind of embrace that tries to store warmth for the cold months ahead, when distance will stretch between them like a road with no end in sight. Lindy enters the barn next. She stands frozen when she sees the way her parents are holding each other. She understands before they say anything. Amy kneels to her level and takes her hands, trying to smile through the sadness. She explains gently that she will be gone only for a short time, that Ty will stay with her, that Echo will still have both of them cheering for him. Lindy listens with wet eyes, then throws her arms around Amy's neck. The hug is desperate and clings tighter than any words could. Amy holds her daughter like she might never get another moment like this again. As the family gathers outside the barn, Jack and Lou step forward, their faces marked with concern but also acceptance. Jack places a hand on Amy's shoulder, telling her that sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is follow a calling even when it hurts. Lou tries to stay strong, but the tears in her eyes show how deeply she fears the change ahead. The truth settles into everyone's hearts at once. Amy will go. Ty will stay. Lindy will stay with him. The Borden family will hold on, but they will hold on from different places. The sun rises higher, casting long shadows across the ranch. For the first time in years, those shadows do not stretch together. They stretch apart. A quiet line has been drawn beneath this moment, a line the family can feel in every breath. And though they know love will keep them connected, they also know that nothing about this next chapter will be easy. The split has begun, and Heartland will never look quite the same again. Amy's departure day arrives with an eerie kind of quiet, the kind that settles over Heartland when change is about to dig in its roots. The morning mist hangs low across the fields, blurring the edges of the ranch as if the world itself is trying to soften what is coming. Amy stands by her pack truck, running her fingers over the worn leather of her gloves. Every sound feels sharper today, the creak of the barn doors, the rumble of the truck engine, even the rhythmic steps of the horses shifting in their stalls. It all presses into her heart, reminding her that this place has shaped every part of who she is. Inside the house, Lindy sits on the stairs, clutching one of Amy's old scarves. She pretends she is fine, but her eyes reveal the truth. When Amy kneels in front of her, Lindy tries to smile, but it slips the moment she feels her mother's arms wrap around her. The hug is slow, deep, and trembling. Amy whispers promises 6 months, video calls, visits when possible, but she knows that none of those promises can truly fill the space that distance will create. Lindy nods anyway, trying to be brave, though her hands refuse to let go until Amy gently loosens them. Ty watches from the doorway, arms folded tightly across his chest. He has always been strong, always steady, but today his strength feels like a thin veneer holding back grief he is not ready to show. When Amy rises, Ty meets her halfway. They stand in the center of the living room, surrounded by memories carved into every wall and floorboard. Their eyes lock, and for a moment, neither of them breathes. It is not anger or regret that fills the air, it is love bruised by circumstance. Ty cups her face in his hands, memorizing every detail like he is afraid time will erase them while she is gone. Outside, Jack loads the last of Amy's bags into the truck. He does it slowly, deliberately, as if dragging out the task might somehow delay the goodbye. When Amy walks out to him, he rests one hand on her shoulder, squeezing gently. He does not give a speech. He simply tells her to keep her heart open and her feet grounded. Amy nods, fighting the sting behind her eyes. Lou joins them, pulling Amy into a tight embrace. Her voice cracks when she tells Amy how proud she is. And Amy realizes that even Lou, who always pushes her to chase her dreams, is struggling to let her go. Before she gets into the truck, Amy walks to the paddock one last time. Spartan stands near the fence, watching her with calm, understanding eyes. She strokes his neck, letting her hand linger on the warm, familiar coat. Spartan lowers his head, pressing it gently against her arm. She whispers that she will come back, even though some part of her wonders what Heartland will look like when she does. Everything feels fragile now, like the ranch is holding its breath until it knows whether this choice will make them stronger or leave cracks they can never fully mend. Amy finally climbs into the truck. Ty lifts Lindy so she can give one last wave. Amy holds their gaze until the very last second, until the road curves and hides the ranch behind a line of trees. And in that quiet, stretching distance, the Borden family is left standing in the widening space between who they were and who they will have to become without Amy's steady presence anchoring them. Amy's journey to Europe begins with a long stretch of highway and a heart that weighs more than her luggage. Every mile she puts between herself and Heartland feels like a silent question pressing deeper into her chest. Did she make the right choice? The open road offers no answer. Instead, it mirrors the emptiness she feels, wide, quiet, and full of uncertainty. When Amy finally reaches the airport, the bustle around her feels almost unreal. People rush past with ease, unaware that she is leaving a whole world behind. She moves through check-in, through security, through the slow pull toward the boarding gate, with each step dragging more than the last. She looks out the large windows at the planes resting on the tarmac. For a moment she hesitates, gripping the strap of her bag. She could turn around right now. She could go home. But deep inside she knows that stepping back would only pause a storm that has already begun. Growth always requires distance, and this time, the distance is literal. Back at Heartland, the ranch feels different without Amy's presence. The air is the same, the fields unchanged, the horses still restless in their paddocks, yet everything carries a muted echo of her absence. Ty throws himself into his work with the wildlife team, partly out of duty, partly to keep his mind from wandering to the empty side of the bed and the untouched corner of the barn where Amy usually stands. Lindy spends her afternoons with Echo, brushing him slowly, whispering stories to fill the silence Amy left behind. She tries to be brave the way her mother taught her, But some nights she finds herself slipping into the barn just to feel close to the horses that knew Amy best. The story ends here, suspended in the place where love, fear, and fate collide, waiting for the next chapter to decide whether the family. Everything feels calm at Heartland today, but underneath that quiet sky, a decision is forming that will shake the Borden family harder than ever before. Amy does not know it yet, but one phone call is about to pull her heart in two different directions, and nothing she chooses will leave the ranch the same. The morning begins like any other. The soft sound of horses breathing fills the barn as Amy steps inside with a gentle smile, believing the day will be simple. The sun hits the wood beams and dust drifts in the warm air. It is peaceful, almost too peaceful, like the world is preparing her for something heavy. When Amy's phone rings, she does not expect anything special. It is just a number she does not recognize. She answers without thinking, wiping her hands on her jeans after brushing a young mare. The voice on the line is formal. It belongs to the director of an elite training center in Europe. He explains that they have been following Amy's work closely. They admire her calm methods, her way of connecting with troubled horses, her gift that seems almost magical. Then he gives her the news that drops straight into her chest. They want her in Europe for 6 months to train a champion jumper that has refused to work with anyone else. Amy stands still as the horses shift around her. The offer is huge, bigger than anything she has ever been given. It is a chance to prove herself on a world stage. She listens carefully, heart racing, trying to understand why she does not feel happy right away. The director continues to speak, telling her that the position starts soon. Very soon. She must give an answer within days. Amy feels the weight settle onto her shoulders. She thinks of Heartland, of Ty, of Lindy, of the routines that make her life full. She knows deep inside that if she accepts, everything will change. When the call ends, Amy does not move. She stares at the rows of stalls as if the walls themselves might give her an answer. Her thoughts grow louder with every second. This offer could lift her career higher than she ever dreamed. Yet it feels like a door that only opens if she leaves the people she loves standing behind her. She walks out of the barn slowly, her boots pressing into the dirt, each step filled with a quiet question. She wants to share the news, but she fears what it will mean once the words leave her mouth. The sky is wide and calm above her, but inside Amy something has already begun to break apart. Ty notices something in Amy's eyes long before she says a word. It is the kind of silence she only carries when she is torn between two truths that mean everything to her. He finds her near the round pen, staring at the ground as if she is searching for courage hidden in the dirt. Before he can ask, a call comes through on his own phone. The ringtone slices through the tension. Ty answers quickly, but the tone in his voice shifts the moment he hears the caller. It is the Wildlife Task Force. They need him immediately for a rising outbreak that threatens both animals and people in the region. Ty listens closely, jaw tightening as the details unfold. A dangerous virus is spreading fast through Alberta's wildlife, and he is one of the few vets with field experience to help control it. The job requires long hours, risky travel into infected zones, and full commitment. There is no room for hesitation. Amy watches him, feeling her own fear echo his. When Ty ends the call, he does not speak right away. The quiet between them grows heavier, as if both of their futures are pressing inward at once. Ty explains the situation, trying to stay steady, but Amy can hear the worry behind every word. She knows what this outbreak means. She knows how Ty throws his whole heart into saving lives, even when it puts him in danger. She also knows that she cannot ask him to walk away from something so important. For a moment, they simply stand there, two people holding separate storms inside them. Amy finally tells him about the offer from Europe. Her voice is soft, almost fragile, as she describes the training center, the opportunity, the urgency. Ty listens, stunned, the weight doubling on his shoulders. He tries to smile for her sake, but something inside him tightens. They both understand what this means without saying it. His work demands he stay in Hudson. Her offer demands she leave it. They are being pulled apart like threads that can no longer follow the same direction. Ty reaches for her hand, holding it firmly, as if he can stop the moment from slipping away. Amy feels her breath shake. Neither of them wants what is happening, but both can see the path forming in front of them, a path that does not lead the same way. The barn behind them stands quiet, unaware that the strongest partnership on the ranch is being tested in a way it never has before. Amy leans her head against Ty's shoulder while the sun dips behind the hills. The world still looks calm on the outside, but the Borden family is already beginning to fracture, piece by piece, with no easy answer in sight. Lindy senses the tension before anyone tells her a thing. Children at Heartland always feel the changes first, like the wind shifts differently just for them. She finds herself wandering toward the far paddock where Echo, the small rescue horse she has secretly been training, waits for her. Echo lifts his head the moment she appears, as if he knows she needs comfort. Lindy slips under the fence rail and presses her forehead to the colt's neck, breathing in the warm, dusty smell that always helps her think. She whispers that something is wrong, even though no one has said it out loud yet. Echo nudges her shoulder gently, and it makes her eyes sting. She has worked so hard to help him trust again, and now she fears she might lose both the horse and her mother at the same time. Katie finds her there. She watches Lindy for a moment before speaking because she can see how tightly the girl is holding onto the colt. When Lindy finally explains what she overheard Amy's offer, Ty's job, the impossible choice between them, Katie's expression softens. She kneels beside her and listens without interrupting. Lindy's voice shakes as she admits the truth she has been hiding. She tells Katie she does not want Amy to leave until Echo is fully healed. She's afraid that without Amy's guidance, she might fail the horse she has grown to love. Katie pulls her into a small hug, promising that Amy would never abandon the people or the animals who depend on her. But Lindy shakes her head. She knows her mother has dreams too. She knows Amy has given up chances before so the family could stay together. This time feels different, heavier, almost final. As she stands there with Echo, she feels a fear she has never experienced before. What if her family cannot bend enough to stay whole this time? What if the world is pulling them in directions they cannot return from? She wipes her face and tries to calm her breathing, but her chest feels tight. Jack appears at the fence, watching quietly. He recognizes that look in Lindy's eyes because he has seen it in Amy's many times. The look of someone losing something they love but trying to stay strong anyway. Without saying a word, Jack climbs into the paddock and rests a hand on Echo's back, joining them in silence. The sky is beginning to dim, and the first chill of evening settles over the ranch. Lindy turns to Jack with a question she cannot hold back anymore. She asks him if families can break even when they love each other. Jack's answer hangs in the air like a slow breath. Love never disappears, he says, but sometimes people have to walk different paths, even if it hurts. Lindy tries to accept his words, but the ache in her chest only grows stronger. The more the truth settles in, the more she fears that the Borden family is standing at the edge of a split none of them can avoid. Amy sits at the kitchen table long after the sun has gone down. The house is quiet, too quiet for a place that usually feels alive with voices and laughter. A single lamp glows beside her, casting soft light over the travel papers she has not yet dared to fill out. Her hands rest on them, but her mind is far away, pulled between the life she built at Heartland and the life she might step into if she says yes. She looks around the room, remembering moments of joy, fear, feeling, and family. Every memory presses against her chest until she can hardly breathe. She wants to believe she can find a middle path, but tonight she finally admits that there is none. If she moves forward, someone she loves will feel left behind. Ty walks in quietly, carrying the weight of his own decision. The stress from the outbreak has already begun to show in his eyes. He sits across from her, and for a long time they just look at each other, both knowing the truth without speaking it. They have faced storms, loss, and heartbreak before, but those battles still allowed them to stand side by side. This time is different. This time the choices themselves are pulling them apart. Ty reaches out and takes her hand, but she can feel the tremble in his fingers. They talk softly, each word landing with the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. Ty tells her he cannot abandon the animals and families who are counting on him. He admits he is scared of the danger, but he knows he must help. Amy listens, wishing she could take that burden from him. When she explains again what the opportunity in Europe means for her career, Ty's voice grows tight. He wants her to go. He knows she deserves it. Yet the idea of waking up without her presence feels like a missing piece he cannot replace.